Hey guys, what's going on? I got a special guest. As you can see, the light is shining on him right now directly. He is none other than one of the most hyped Bengals fans and YouTube influencers around. He's none other than Zim WhoDey. What's up, buddy?
How you doing today, Ice?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just enjoying this rainy, cold fall weather here we're having today. How's things in your neck of the woods?
Oh man, it's a beautiful day out here. I don't know if the sun is shining out there.
Oh, I can see it. Uh-oh. I did that one. He moved his camera.
See that?
The sun, there, now I can see it. Yeah, the sun was so good they knocked your camera off.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, not again. Oh jeez, he'll come back in a minute. I promise. I promise. Just don't go anywhere. Zim's coming back. He's trying to show me. I shouldn't ask about the weather so much.
Sorry about that. It,
All right,
it keeps on hitting the button to like close out because I'm doing it from my phone.
I got you. All right, man. So let's get into this thing here. All right, so we whooped ass on the Dirty Birds last weekend, which, to be honest, that's what I expected. To be honest, right. I mean, I didn't expect. I was a little worried because the offense hadn't completely clicked, but I thought they found something. Yeah. But dude, they balled out. Jackpot had 481 yards, passing yards, 501 total yards. They won 35-17. Uno balled out, was barely even running. He even said it, balling past the Dirty Birds. I think we're back, baby. Aren't we back?
I think we're 100% back. You left out Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins
right,
now
too. Yep.
Man, I feel like TB, man, that's one of the best games he might have had as a pro, bro. He was going crazy in that game. I feel like he was unstoppable. And you're thinking like that's your third option at wide receiver. Like that is scary, bro. Like
we got actually that you brought that. We got a discussion the other day between me and Dale from Bengals and Brewers. Is TB a number one wide receiver on any other team? That's what I think.
Like say now, and this isn't to diminish like Cooper Kupp or somebody like that, right?
Right.
But coming into this past season, Tyler Boyd and Cooper Kupp had the same exact numbers. It was just two 1,000-yard seasons.
Right.
Then he gets a whole bunch of targets, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's the best wide receiver in football. He's a phenomenal player." I'll tell you this: if you put Tyler Boyd in that system, maybe he doesn't have. I think Cooper Kupp ended up with like 1,800, like 2,000 yards or something like that. Maybe he might have like 1,800, 1,700. Like if you put him in that system and did the same exact thing, just run a bunch of option routes all game, like bro. Like he would go crazy. Like a lot of teams that we played, I think for sure he will be their number one wide receiver. I think you can look at the Steelers and say, what's the Deontay Johnson's problem? He drops the football. Like coaches don't like guys that drop the football. So just that alone gets you all the way up the depth charts. He's at the lowest drop rate in the NFL. Like he's like second in the whole entire NFL. So like I think he would, even on some of the best wide receiving cores like that, you know, you're waiting for a George Pickens or somebody like that to get a lot better. I think he would be the number one option if he were to play on that team. Think about the Ravens. Think about the Falcons. You think he's beating out Drake London? I think so.
Right.
Like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like
he was our number one guy for years till we got Chase. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think he's I mean,
but Zim, that's sick right there. Just think all three of our wide receivers, like Joe's been calling them, he said we got three number ones. And he's right. I mean, on almost any other team, these guys would most likely be. I know T and Jamar for sure, but TB doesn't get enough credit. All three of them could be number ones on almost any other team. That's what we got on every single play, dude.
Right. We're the only team in the National Football League currently right now with three wide receivers over 400 yards. T. Higgins missed 2 yards and still got 455 yards. And we're not even halfway through the season.
Right.
So we're well on pace for all three of them dudes to get 1,000. And then, Hayden Hurst, he's on pace to have more yards than CJ Uzama's best season already.
Exactly.
Joe Mixon is already on pace for over 1,100 yards rushing, 1,200 yards or whatever, all purpose. Like all of these dudes are playing at the level that we thought that they would. In some weeks, somebody's going to go off, the other person. And I love how, like, not even our fans, I think it's the outside fan base. They want us to fail so bad that they like, what's wrong with Jamar Chase? I'd be like, nothing. T. Higgins just went crazy on the Jets and he went crazy on the Dolphins. Like,
that's what's killing me is like last 2 weeks. Yeah, last 2 weeks before this past weekend, the T was down a little because Jamar was going off.
Right.
And I like some Packers fans, and I even heard Max on ESPN this morning talking about T. Higgins possibly could be traded or whatever. I was like, you're freaking nuts.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, there is no way. So Packer fans have tweeted out like, oh, we need to trade for T. Higgins. Like, yeah, good luck with that. There's no way in hell the Bengals are trading T. Higgins. Why would they? He's one of our best wide receivers, if not our best. I mean,
who creates this stuff? You said Max Kellerman came up with that?
They said, I swear, they said something like that this morning. I heard talk about wide receivers that could be traded, and I swore I heard him say T. Higgins. And I'm like, and it ticked me out because that's not the first time I heard it. Because my son was telling me that Green Bay Packer fans are like,
yeah.
We get T. Higgins. Like,
hey, bro, this the craziest part. This is the craziest thing. Like a week ago, that it makes sense. A week ago, it was a Packers dude, verified Packers guy.
Right.
And remember, he was like, now mind you, both of us got the same record. He was like, yeah, the Bengals are cheap. We're 3-3, and I mean, like, they're just one loss away from. And I was thinking, like, bro, the Packers look like trash right now. Like, he was like, yeah, we could send them like a 4-4-3. I was like, what?
I know, like for T. Higgins, nuts.
And to hear, bro, if somebody wanted to trade for T. Higgins right now, and it was Mike Brown, not only would it even be not even a conversation, but let's say it was like coming up on a contract year. Right. Mike Brown would be like, bro, give me a first this year and the first after that. Right. Like, what are you talking about? T. Higgins on all of these teams would be the number one wide receiver outside of like 9 teams, bro. And the dude that wrote this, the only reason I brought that up is because the guy that wrote this isn't like some just random 20 follower dude on Twitter. Right. This was like a verified. I don't want to say what I thought. I think he was locked on or something, but like I forgot what he was with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a locked on Packers guy.
Was it?
It was a locked on Packers guy, and it was another verified green. Yeah. And they were really putting that jargon out there. Yeah. And people were buying it, and I was and I saw Jake Lisco, and I saw other people kind of chime in and set them straight. Yeah. But I was just thinking to myself, like, are people that delusional about the Bengals that they just don't watch them and they just like, oh yeah, well, T. Higgins is just. He must have just had a couple good games. Like, do they even know that he didn't even play in 3 games?
I know. I was just like, what? Dude, you got to be kidding me. I said, there's no freaking way. I said, it's just like the same crap we heard when Joe Burrow's not going to want to come to Cincinnati because of the Bengals and all, they're cheap and all those narratives. Like, they're blowing out the water, but people are going to still say that stupid crap. And we can sit here as Bengal fans and sit back and just laugh at them of how stupid that is. Like,
man, I posted this morning. Because sometimes I wake up and I just think about like how far we come and all these different things, and I get all these great feelings, and I just thank God, right? But I was looking at when Chase got drafted, and then I looked at like the comments and stuff. I was going to war, Ice.
I know, dude. I was going to war. You liked my comment from back then when you were flipping up like, when he got drafted.
I was just looking at like even the comments like the week or so before, they were like, you're an idiot. And I was just thinking to myself, like, you're not an idiot. You just don't understand what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm like, like we're living in history, like this doesn't happen all the time. When guys get 2-3 wide receivers, like take a team like say the Saints were healthy and they had a Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and Jarvis Landry.
Right.
You have to go and manufacture that generally. Like you got to go in the free agent pool, go get it. You're taking a chance on an older guy.
Yeah. Teams
don't just draft 3 guys like at the top of their field and just say, yeah, we're going to run that out there before like that doesn't happen. And that's why I'm very adamant. And, some of my best moments on your show, is me like highlighting the fact that I just think it's so special that people really have to understand, like, especially Bengals fans. Mm-hmm. You may never get this again in history. You might get them trying to replicate it again. We've done Sanu, Marvin Jones, and AJ Green or whatever. Yep. Like, and I'm feeling it. That's the 2nd round pick, a fourth round pick, and the first, and they just hit and they do really good at drafting wide receiver. But to draft like a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins, like that is a ballsy move. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't happen that often because what happens is if you get your quarterback hurt, anything happens, much kind of like how I did it, really, like to come back after a quarterback tears his ACL and have the balls to say, nah, we're gonna go get the best guy available.
Mm-hmm.
Is like one of the greatest moments in the history of football.
Dude,
it really
Sim,
is.
you and me right here. I was literally just saying this yesterday on my show. I said, Bengals fans, enjoy the hell out of what we have with Jackpot, with Uno, with T, with TB. This don't happen every day. I'm 47 years old, dude. I've never seen an offensive weapons like we have on this team. And that's not counting Hayden Hurst, not counting Joe Mixon. Dude,
Chris Evans and
he,
you know, like maybe he comes out the woodwork. And then let's talk about like the trade deadline coming up. I wouldn't put it past the Bengals. Like, because if they know what I know, after the season, you do have to play Jackpot Joey.
Yep.
You do have to go on offer and try your hardest to go sign T. Higgins and Logan Wilson, right?
Yep.
And possibly Jonah Williams too.
Right.
So this is the most important offseason in the history of time. You're not going to have the opportunities to do like a 1 year, lease on a guy or anything like that. I look for them. If Tufele didn't play as good as he did last week, I 100% would think that they would be in the defensive line pool and be willing to give up a draft pick for it, which is not very characteristic of them. But I think that they make a move before this deadline, because if you don't do it now, I just don't know that you're going to have that opportunity coming up. The one name I always say, and people say I'm crazy for it, is Rob Gronkowski. And the reason why is because he went out of his way.
Yeah.
And said that he wanted to play with Joe Burrow so many different times. You know who got a couple targets in the game last week and people aren't even paying attention to? Mitchell Wilcox.
Yeah.
Imagine if that's Rob Gronkowski, and instead of going 3 for 4 in the red zone, we're talking about the greatest offense ever assembled. Like the greatest show on turf will be behind us. And all it would take is about like $4 to $6 million on a 1 year, half a year.
Yeah, it can't be anything longer than that because they got too many guys.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, but
that's the thing where I was saying yesterday. That's where I'm like, I don't know if they were going to do anything because of all the guys they got to sign. But if you can get Gronk come out of retirement, which I know me and Ace kind of got into it a little bit in the offseason about
really?
Like, he's going to retire is what I thought. But
why?
This for a short season for a Super Bowl run. I
can see that. Look, Gronk wants to party. Yeah. Gronk wants to hang out with cool dudes. He wants to walk out with Joe Burrow. He wants to walk out in the game before Halloween. Right. Gronk is at home like, bro, that would be so cool and so swagged out for me to walk out with him. Right. Keep in mind, Tommy in Tampa Bay is, that season isn't looking promising. You're not coming out of retirement for that. He went out of his way 4 different times in the offseason and went out of his way. People didn't even ask him about Joe Burrow on 2 of those occasions to say, man, I would love to play for Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Hey, I'm down for it. Like I said, me and Ace got into it a little bit this summer. I thought he was going to retire, which he did retire. But like you said, I could see them possibly doing that for a run here. Let's get into
Gronk is never he's never retired in my mind.
Let's get into this real quick. We talk about how great the offense is and everything, and then we're going to roll into Halloween here with the Browns. Right. And all I keep hearing on Twitter is, Jackpot Joey Burrow has never beaten the Browns, and the Browns this and the Browns that. The Browns act like they're like a Super Bowl contending team, dude. They got 2 wins? Like what? I'm not worried about this game. Are you?
I'm not worried about it at all. I feel like the Browns are this is their Super Bowl. I'll say that this is their Super Bowl. And one thing that helps them sleep and cope with it, you got to think if your team went 0-16 and stuff, you got to take some of your wins. Sorry, I'm sending shots. You got to take your wins or some of the things that you've been able to tell people. Like, you know what the Browns people do when they come in Twitter spaces with us and stuff? The first thing they say all year, all season is like, well, the Bengals can't beat them. I'll be like, bro, you didn't even make the playoffs. and then they'll come back and be like, but we swept the Bengals. I'll be like, the second time we didn't even play anybody. Like, that's a win for you? Okay, whatever. Like, and I'm like, bro, we don't really care. But you got to think, if you went to an 0-16 parade, and you knew you weren't winning those Super Bowl. They know they're not winning those Super Bowl when the massage dude comes back anyway. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to like hang on to something. Mm-hmm. It's like the thread off a cloth, like the thread off of Joe Burrow's jacket. They're trying to, like let me grab onto that, Joe. They want to hang on to the coattails of that so bad. And we're just like, okay, like, all right, let's talk about Bengals and Browns. At the end of the day, like, this is their season on the line. Right. They need to stop focusing on bragging rights and all that other stuff. 2-6 is a death sentence. You're not going anywhere. You lose this game. Like, it's over. I don't care. They're like, yeah, what y'all gonna do when Deshaun comes back? We don't care, bro. Like,
they're gonna be too far back. It's not gonna matter.
You see, I knew when the schedule came out and then he got the 11-game suspension. I said, bro, y'all have to be up like 5-2, 6. Like, it can't be like no 3-3, 4-4. None of that. It got to be like you got to have a winning record because you got to have an adjustment from when the rustiness of him. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of obstacles in front of you, and then the fact that they're now 2-5, I'm like, bro, for real, your season really is over. You're just hanging on to this because
this is a 2-team race now. That's all it is.
It really is.
That's it.
It really is.
Us and the Ratbirds. That's all it
is. And in the Ratbirds, like now that we know, that's one of them games too. You look back and you say, excuse me. You look back at that and you say, man, a lot. I'm so mad that I lost that game, but a lot came out of it. You know what I mean? They found themselves. I know that light is like crazy. They found themselves in that game, and I think like moving forward, when we see them that last game of the season, I feel like we're going to end their season. I feel like that's a game. It's going to have maybe there's 9-7 or 9-8 or something like that, and they could potentially go to the playoffs, and that's when we're going to end their season. Now, mind you, their schedule they're about to play on paper looks really simple.
Yeah.
But I never bet against Tom Brady, so you got to think they got to play him tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, yeah. Yeah, so like none of this is going to be easy for any of us.
Right.
2-team race though, I like my chances with you. With those guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't wait for that. And I keep saying, I said this at the beginning of the year that I think the battle for the number 1 seed is going to come down to that Buffalo Cincinnati game here in that's December 3rd, I think it is here in Cincinnati.
It's a big game. That's a big game.
A huge game, dude. I'm still looking forward to that one. And when we start off to the 0-2, I got a little worried a little bit, but not really, because one thing I love what Zach Taylor said the other day at his press conference. He's like, when Joe Burrow came out a couple weeks ago, he said, relax, we're going to be just fine. And Zach comes out and says, I told you so. I told you this is all going to work out, when we started out 0-2.
Right.
We just had to figure this out. And I don't know about how much hate you've been getting on about, because I defend Zach Taylor a lot, about the Zach Taylor hate. Is it justified? Because now where's it at? We had over 500 yards total offense this past week. We kicked ass the week before that. Is it justified? Do people just overreact? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it is justified in the sense of if you're someone that has championship aspirations, you can't just let him off the hook for some of the continued mistakes that he's had. But I'm always people think that I'm a very extreme, person because I have real big reactions and stuff. But I am very cautious and I kind of assess different things. And I've never been a fire as that guy. Those guys are complete lunatics.
Oh, yeah, that's the craziest talk ever.
Like the play calling Zach guy. I think if you want to be able to say I'm gonna win a Super Bowl, right?
Right.
The great coaches and the elite coaches are able to make changes on the fly. Much like that's what makes Lou Anarumo so amazing. Is because whatever you do in the first half, he's just going to change it up, and you're not going to have success in the second half. Think about this run that we're on right now for the second half of these football games. The last time a team scored a touchdown on us in the second half was the Super Bowl, and before then, it wasn't teams just scoring in the second half touchdowns in the second half of these games. Zach, I think, needs to be able to make changes in real time, and then some of his decisions in his feel for the game at the end of these games is very, very questionable. Sometimes he puts it in the defense's hands where I think he could just end it. Even if you think about the playoff game, the 31-year drought one, there's a call late in that game where I thought they could have just went for 4th down and David Carr or whatever, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Derek Carr never even gets a chance to drive down the field.
Right.
He did the same thing in the Green Bay game. He did the same thing in the Broncos game. He did the same thing in the 49ers game, and Jimmy G burned him with it, where he has these different opportunities where he could ice a game in the game, and he does it, and he elects to give the ball back to the other team. Or like the Green Bay overtime, Joe Burrow was hot in that game. He goes to overtime, runs 3 straight times, kicks a field goal, then Aaron Rodgers comes back and wins the game or whatever. Or some sequence like that. So those are the things like on the fly and his feel for the game. Like in that game, the Ravens game that you crawl back into, to me, a Philly special, a shovel pass is your offense is in rhythm.
Right.
You clawed back so hard in that game. That's not a time. Not only is it a bad call, you're not in rhythm. So these are the small mistakes that could cost you a championship. So anybody that gives him criticism on that isn't wrong. And I've always got my eye on him. I'm checking him out. I think he's a fine coach. Anybody that tells you that he isn't crap or he's dog poop, for a coach to go to the Super Bowl, it's impossible. Like that's impossible.
Mm-hmm,
You couldn't be. Well, those people are lunatics, and they live on Facebook. I think I know you love Facebook. I'm sorry, but those
I'm on everywhere, dude. I'm on all of them.
But you're a big presence on Facebook. Those guys over there are crazy to me. But that's the main catalyst of fire Zach guys.
Yeah,
they spill out on the Twitter and Instagram occasionally,
right.
But they entertain those conversations on Facebook to me, and that's where those conversations grow. And then they come out to these other lanes, and then we get a whiff of them. We're like, "What are you thinking? Like that doesn't even make sense." You cannot go to a Super Bowl. Let me say that again, and not be a coach with at least six,
a really good coach,
like just an above average,
right?
Good coach to whatever. Like Mike McCarthy or whatever is a good example of a coach that isn't amazing, but he rode Aaron Rodgers to a Super Bowl. But you see, if you ask a Packers fan if Mike McCarthy a good coach, they'll be like, he sucks. But he's good enough,
right,
to go to a Super Bowl. But when you look at the landscape of this AFC with the Bills and the Chiefs currently right now, who knows what happens with Herbert later in the season? And you look at some of these other teams, you cannot make those mistakes and win a Super Bowl. Right. The ones that I outlined earlier. Right. So it's a fair point and it's a fair thing. But this is the thing that Zach did, that the people that are loud and that are the loudest. And I hope they hear this message. I'm going to question your fandom. I don't question anybody how they want to be a fan. I told you that on the show one time before.
Right.
You could be a fan however you want to be a fan. But if you're watching a coach in real time change everything with his offense, go from a zone scheme to a gap scheme, then come back, go and put his quarterback in 95% shotguns, and then he goes crazy for like 2 weeks in a row, and he makes those adjustments, and he says, you know what? I made a mistake, and I changed it. The same people that were the loudest with their pitchforks out have to be just as loud to say, I love that he did that. Right. I still got my eye on that. And if you aren't that loud, then I just don't think that you're really a supporter of the Bengals. You're really just a supporter of yourself, and you're really just a supporter of you want to be the guy that's right about everything, and you want to be able to tell your friends, see, I told you so.
Right,
and you make that more important than the Bengals winning.
Exactly.
So those people have to pick at some point. Are you a fan of yourself or are you a fan of the Bengals?
All right, real quick. You've been on for 23 minutes. We talked about this off air real quick before I let you go. Do you hate the Browns as much as like Bengal Jim does or old school Browns fans?
No, I don't really think anything of the Browns.
See, the thing, like I told you before, like since I'm older, like back in the day, the Browns were the team we hated. We couldn't stand them, Mike Brown and Paul Brown and Art Modell, we hated them. But for me, I told Jimmy this before. I said, for me, the hate, I still don't like the Browns. I root for them. But my hate switched from the Browns to Baltimore, because when Baltimore came in, the Baltimore started winning, and the Browns weren't even a freaking team. And when the Browns came back, dude, they've literally done nothing since 1999. They've done nothing.
All of my hate, all of what fuels me more than anything, I don't know, you'll see this. Sometimes I wake up on Twitter, I might randomly post Carson Palmer's knee.
Yeah.
My hate is 100% Steelers, like all day. If somebody cuts me off on the road, I told you this before, I automatically think that it's a Steelers fan. It's my old boss when I was like 19. I think I got fired from a job. I looked at his keychain. He had a Steelers keychain. So you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think anything of any of those teams. My hatred is for the Steelers. I don't even really look at the Ravens like. Only reason why I think I hate the Ravens now is because they have the most pathetic fans on Twitter right now. Like they are horrible. They are bad, bro. Like they're like if y'all ever like engage with like a purple, I don't even call them Ravens anymore. I just call them purple people because it's like a whole nother world, and they just live in this world. And you can show them like what's the record head to head. You can show them the last 10 years, and they just be like, no, we're better, and you guys have never won. I'll be like, we're virtually the same in a lot of aspects outside of your miracle run with Joe Flacco, and then and then you had a really really good defense with Ray Lewis in them. But aside from those two teams, the teams that I could have had in 2005 and 2015, go look at it. Like history is so crazy like that. If you don't tear up Carson Palmer's knee, the Steelers go on to beat the Seahawks and Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah, we're winning that.
And we're winning that, right?
Yeah.
Then go to
I've said that a million times.
Then go to 2015. Now, I don't feel as strong as a Super Bowl as most people do. I think at the very least you're going to an AFC championship with a healthy Dalton thumb, right?
Yeah, well, if he doesn't throw an interception, doesn't rip his thumb, that's a whole different season.
So you got those two instances that are literally the only two things that a Ravens fan could tell me. And that Joe Flacco run. Anybody ever tell you somebody is lucky on your team? Go watch the highlights on the Ravens going to the Super Bowl that year. That is beyond lucky. Like the Jacoby Jones tip ball on the sideline. Like, go play the highlights. Like, I had to play that for like a young fan. Yeah. It was like, bro, this is crazy. I'm like, yes. That was like the luckiest thing you've ever seen. But
dude, I had after the Ravens beat us, I had
I hated that.
People quote tweeted me on something that I said when we were 0-2. I said, if you weren't with us when Zach was 325 and 1 or whatever Zach's record was before. I said, and don't be with us. You're not with us now at 0-2. Don't be with us when we win the Super Bowl this year. That's which is my video I put out on Twitter. Right. Ravens fans found that damn thing and quote tweeted me. Oh, how's that feel? I'm like,
feels the same.
Yeah, I'm good. All right, how you feeling?
Hey, look, they tried to. They can't quote. They can't get me online. They tried to get something. The one thing I did before that game, I said, look, since y'all always talking about injuries don't count. I mean, I said, no, this game doesn't count because of injuries. They were so upset. I was like, yeah, you see how that feels?
Yep.
Like when like, so it was like a social experiment. I got a post, bro, that they swept my tweets for weeks. I'm like, bro, I don't even tweet y'all. All these teams. I want Bengals fans to understand this. You got to think. Look at who won an AFC Player of the Week. Like I just saw like a graphic. The Bengals have won like Player of the Week like 10 times in like the last, like I think it was like 2 years or something like that. You got to think these teams are holding on for dear life on what they were told was going to happen when Lamar Jackson lit the league up in 2019, or the Steelers are holding on to the 6 rings, or the Browns are holding on to what they thought was going to be a Super Bowl run when they went to that all season with Baker Mayfield after they won that first playoff game or whatever. These teams are Bengals fans got to stop engaging with these guys so much, guys and girls so much, because they're just trying to gain life off of what they really want. They want to be us. They really want to be a Joe Burrow. They really want a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Logan Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really want that. If you go look at their tweets and stuff, the same people that y'all arguing with, go look at their tweets. They're always talking about how their front office didn't do this. They didn't do this, and their coordinator didn't do that. They want to have all the things. They want to be us.
They want to be us. They can't be us.
I'm telling you. It's so crazy. Like, and you watch them like spew like their inner hatred towards like a Bengals fan, and then you go and I tell you that if y'all watching this next time, just go look at their tweets. Like outside of the ones that they just tweeted you with, it's full of all of this turmoil and all this hatred towards their front office and the moves that they could have made and all these different things that they want. That's why they sit around and try to diminish everything that Joe Burrow does. Oh, he checks the ball down. Then we show him all the stats. Like Joe Burrow is at the top of the league in yards per attempt. His first 2 years. Like they'll come up with anything to try to make it feel good. I
still remember the Twitter space I was in with you guys last year before the Tennessee playoff game. That guy, I'll take Tannehill over Joe Burrow. I'm like, are you freaking nuts,
bro? You got to come back in there one day and listen to him. I came on your show. Just come on in here. Just come on there one day and just listen to it.
Dude, I try to get in there, but man, it's so much arguing and everything. I can't. I don't know.
When we're hosting it, bro. Like we make sure we give you the floor, bro. I promise you that.
All right. I'll have to make sure I jump in next time I see. Well, you're on all the time. So anyway, speaking of that, tell everybody where they can find you. About Cincinnati and everything else you got going to the Burrow babies, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, make sure you follow me at ZimWhoDey on Twitter. Zim_WhoDey on Instagram. Go to ZimWhoDey.com. I got some really good merch. I'm about to do a contest. I think I'm gonna launch later on today to get like a free hoodie. I do the Cincinnati Pod with my bro Ace, and we got a bunch of different shows on Cincinnati Pod as well. On Twitter, it's just Cincinnati, like Cincinnati, except put a W in the front. Cincinnati Pod, and go check that. Follow that account out. We got some real good content, real good graphics, real good stats and stuff that you could use against all your enemies.
But don't go look for Zim on Facebook. He's not on there.
I am on there.
Oh, you are? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I commented one time. I comment sometimes. There's like a war room, but people kind of crossed the line in one of them, and I kind of stayed away from it because they got talking about deaths and stuff like that. I was like, I'm out.
I'm out. I'm out on that one.
I'm out. So there's some crazy stuff on there, but there is one I check in from time to time. I might drop a video on there and make everybody mad, and then I just walk away.
Just drop bombs. Boom.
Yep. I drop a Burrow drop. Like I might go in there today and drop a good Burrow bomb of where he's at, second in the league in yards. I might drop some stuff like that in there and just leave out.
Make sure you tag me in it so I can see it.
All right, I got you.
All right, brother Zim. I appreciate it as always, dude. WhoDey, dude.
Peace. WhoDey.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Zim is awesome. He's one of my favorite guests to be on the show. Let me get to the news of the day. Well, not news of the day. The news of the day. Yeah, it's news of the day. I'll try this again. As a group, which is me and Bengals and Brews, as you know, we teamed up with Betfred Sports, and we're trying to get you guys signed up with Betfred Sports. You can do it down here, right below. It's right here, right below there with the link. That's our link. It sets you up for a free $20 Betfred bet starting in January 1st, because January 1st, betting is legal here in Ohio. So I take that $20, that free $20, put another $20 on it, and put it on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. The other reason you want to pre-register is you have a chance to win Bengals tickets from Betfred. But us here at Sports Strawberry Ice and Bengals and Brews are going to give you 2 sweet tickets for the November 6th game versus the Panthers. All you got to do is subscribe to the show, my show, and Bengals and Brews. Follow us on Twitter, take a screenshot of it, and then write your initials on it so we know who it is, and you can confirm that it's yours. And I think we're going to do it on my show when Dale's on there, Brew Days, the week of. We will be giving those tickets away. So, again, go register at Betfred. Like I said, the link is below. 2 things. Register, screenshot, subscribe to both our channels, Bengals and Brews and Sports Strawberry Ice. Follow us on Twitter. You follow me on Facebook too if you want. Instagram, all that stuff. Same with Bengals and Brews. Screenshot it, and that'll get you registered for a chance to win a suite. Now we're not giving away just regular tickets. These are suites up high, nice area. I haven't even got to go into it yet. You guys will be able to go to it. So make sure you guys do that for me. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. By the time this comes out, this is my 3rd show of the day. So we're kind of busy trying to get a whole lot of good content out for you. I hope you guys enjoyed Justin Williams. I had him on earlier today. I ran down about noon. This one's going, probably 8 o'clock, somewhere around tonight. I think that's when we're going to play this. I had, which I'm speaking to the future, Satori on the show earlier today, and we did some breakdowns on that. So I put a lot of good content out there for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. So like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to Bengals and Brews, and try to go to Betfred. Go win you some tickets. All right? Other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya! Let's go. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast disobey, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, WhoDey, we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and dripping orange and black and white. WhoDey, when we fight, live and die in these fights. Wake up the feast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin' WhoDey, time to put your hands up. Single stripes, we
black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping, nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounce, make the city howl. Now we beasting now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that WhoDey muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the in the jungle, we unite in the dripping orange and black and white. WhoDey when we fight.